Well, we just came out of the Apple meeting. Kind of the whole group of us was out there, and as always, it was a very well orchestrated, very smooth, very nicely put on show. A lot of major announcements. Apple had deferred a lot of these announcements from last year. They were planning on doing them last year, but they ran into a number of development problems. There was this rumored suite of Final Cut Extreme, which was supposedly going to take Final Cut Studio and morph it with Shake and put them both in a blender and realize this highly powered, more expensive, more comprehensive suite of tools, and that didn't happen really. They tweaked it up to Final Cut Pro 6, which had a number of Avid killers in it. You now have the ability to mix resolutions and formats in real time in the timeline, which was always an Avid silver bullet. They're telling us that now you can mix frame rates, which is something that Avid can't really do. We're letting that sink in. They've also got this new resolution, which really seemed to come out in response to Avid's DNX HD, called ProRes. And the idea is the same with Avid's DNX HD, that you've got a mastering quality editable codec that takes the high data rates of HD and brings it down to standard definition data rates. So we haven't seen it in person yet ourselves or anything. It'll be very interesting to see that on the show floor. That's really going to change things. There's a new application called Color that has total integration with Final Cut Studio, supposedly. It enables primary color correction and 8 channels of secondary color correction per shot. Written from the ground up. It's got the full suite of histograms and RGB parades and individual channel control over the red, green, blue, and the luminance and all that. And it's folded into Final Cut Studio. It comes at no additional charge, so it's integrated with it. Pretty amazing. We expected that to be a separate piece of software that would cost $1,000 on up, and that's not the case at all. So it's folded in now. That's pretty amazing stuff. There were a number of kind of the also-ran software packages like Compressor, nobody ever thinks about much. Soundtrack Pro, people install it, they forget about it, they never ever use it. Some pretty significant tweaks made to those. Compressor now has the ability to farm out the encode to all 8 of the Mac Pro processors, and you can throttle that depending on what else you need to do, so that Compressor can make use of what you've got available. And then in Soundtrack Pro, they've got a number of tools for individually manipulating the frequencies, taking out noise in the background from when people are talking. That's pretty amazing stuff. That is going to be a real threat to the likes of Pro Tools. So they've also got this new application called Final Cut Server. They didn't mention Xsan once, but they trotted out this new Final Cut Server, which looks like a Mac and PC-based asset management solution. And what we're trying to figure out is if it's going to run on top of Xsan, or if this is a replacement for Xsan, or if you buy Xsan and then you buy Final Cut Server to enhance your interoperability, or if you buy Final Cut Server and Xsan and they sort of complement each other. We don't really know yet, so it's all sort of sinking in. We came out of the show about half an hour ago. I'm sitting here spending a lot of time thinking about all the things they didn't tell us about. It's like they didn't tell us how long the rendering takes. They didn't tell us what the minimum systems are. Are we all going to need these new 8-core Macs to run all this stuff on? There's going to be a lot of questions answered, hopefully, in the next few days as the show continues. And that's the word from NAB today, folks, on Sunday. So the show floor officially opens tomorrow morning, and the saga will continue. Thanks a lot.